the Young Bucks leading off Dynamite, and when they do, those matches, those Dynamites in which they are the opener, are always memorable. They have a way of bringing an energy and setting a tone, setting the bar so high for the rest of the show. And this was no different, man.
Oh, no way.
Let me hear your thoughts before I just go on and on about how much I love this. I'd love to hear what you thought about this match. Sort of what was your overall take? Was this an elite or delete from you, and why?
Well, first and foremost, this was definitely an elite from me. I think that after last week, we were kind of wondering what to expect from the Bucks. There was a lot going on, obviously, in that segment last week where they officially turned heel. That was a big deal, and they immediately showed their heel side. They weren't messing around last week. Their style changed. Their in-ring work changed. Everything about how they present themselves changed, and it was so fun. They were doing so many just dirty, backhanded tactics to get ahead in this match. And the way they won the match, where, we'll just get to that right away. They ripped off Ray Phoenix's mask. Like, Nick did that to win the match when, they were on the borderline of losing their titles. And, man, what a way to do them dirty, because that's really what they did. They did them dirty to get that match. And I think it was a really good indicator of what we're going to get from these guys as heels, and it was pretty awesome. Like, I don't lie.
Yeah, for me too, man. Like, when I look at like the way this match played out, right? I think a lot about like, all right, like, let's be real. I have been somebody who's been trying to advocate a big picture view of the Young Bucks and the story, right? A lot of people have gotten on them about like the flip-flopping of good versus bad, and are they a good guy, are they a bad guy? For me, I kind of see, it's an example of human nature. We all struggle with our inner morality, right? And like, definitely. Are we going to do what's right? Are we going to do what's convenient? Are we going to do what fits us best? Or are we going to do what we feel is best for everyone else? And so when you put that kind of morality play at the center of guys who truly, when you look at their story, right, these guys were indie darlings, kind of the renegade group, kind of like they kind of made their name for themselves as kind of being those like the anti-establishment, anti-norm, did what they felt like they paved their own path, right? And for them to do that and then rise up and to become really recognized as one of the greatest tag teams in the modern era, and to build this company. Now they're in this unique situation where if they win, you're going to have people out there, and there are a lot of people in the Twitterverse who are going to say, man, these guys are only champs because they're the executive, they're vice presidents and things like that, right? So you're going to see a lot of those types of arrows getting slung at them. Meanwhile, these guys have fought and scratched and clawed to get to that position. So like it's a very unique situation. And I think that this match, as a fan, I was absolutely fascinated by, because now that we saw the Bucks really, especially in that promo from BTE with Kenny, leaning in more to, let's forget about what all these critics, all the fans, everybody thinks of us, and let's just get back to who we are. And when you put them in a match against Phoenix and Pac, it really was a test for our tag team champions. And I think that, like, you see a lot of people even on Twitter making these comments. Matt Jackson's he's basically my age, mid-30s, right? And Nick's in his lower 30s. They're not the Young Bucks anymore, and kind of all these people slinging arrows at them. You're going against two of the absolute most athletic superstars in all of pro wrestling. I mean, when you look at Phoenix and Pac, that's what I love about them. And SPD always marks out about Phoenix and his ability to make the uncanny look common. These guys are the type that will push the pace and will absolutely test how much you got in the tank. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're the Young Bucks, I felt like this was a perfect litmus test for them, and I felt like they had something to prove. I felt like they went into this match, right, with an edge and an attitude, yes, the cocky heel side of them, but also like, all right, like we're going to show you guys why we are the best in the world. We're going against some of these like incredible athletes, and we're going to hang with them, and we're going to show there were countless spots where they went above and beyond to show sort of that arrogance, that over the top, their athleticism. I mean, doing backflips into a drop kick, all sorts.
So there's so many good spots.
All sorts of these amazing spots that I think were purposeful to again remind the world. There's some incredible talent out there, and this even goes on to, we'll talk about it later on when the Bullet Club had that backstage promo, but where it was. Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there, but don't sleep on the Bucks. Don't forget why we are the champs. Don't forget why the AEW is even here, and that's because of us. And I thought they took this matchup very personally.
Definitely. It felt personal on both sides in a lot of ways. They wanted to go out and prove themselves, and I feel like Pac and Phoenix, they wanted to go out there and prove themselves as well as somebody who deserves to be those champions. And there was a couple moments where it looked like they were going to win, and it felt really close a lot of times. And these guys just beat the hell out of each other. It was what I really enjoy about both of these teams is that they can do these awesome high flying spots that are so entertaining and cool and unique, and they can also just batter their opponents and make so many things look painful. Like when Matt was just raking Pax and Phoenix back, kept doing that. It just looked so painful. And there were so many spots like that where, and that's what I'm talking about with a change with their style. There was a lot more aggression from the Young Bucks than usual. Sometimes they like to get in their little spot fest things where they just kind of do a lot of just do kind of crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I think tonight they were a little more methodical, and you can kind of tell hey, we're not going out here to entertain you anymore. We're out here to be the best.
And some of those moments, right? And some of those moments where they did those incredible athletic or spots that they're known for, were almost done in a mocking fashion, right? They kind of, and then that built up their character work,
and that got more obvious as it went along. Matt was intentionally mocking himself at one point. That was the funniest moment of the night.
Yeah,
he intentionally was doing his own stuff, ribbing himself in a lot of ways, which you don't ever see stuff like that. But he went that extra mile, and he was apparently ribbing the fans based on what they said later too. So it was a really cool, just really fun match. I enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely, man. And both these teams really send a message to the locker room, right? I mean, we were out here watching it, but I mean, AEW did a great job of showcasing, all the, you saw Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus out there. You saw a lot of these tag teams in the crowd, Butcher and Blade, watching this match, and they got to see a treat, man. I mean, this was an absolute showcase. I feel like all eyes were on this match. In the wrestling world, but I think also I talk about all the time, the AEW tag division is so deep. And now that Pac and Phoenix have, I really was rooting. I'm rocking my Pac shirt again. I was really rooting for that title change. I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to happen based off of all the shine and the work that's going on with the Bucks characters right now. But I really believe that these two guys, Pac and Phoenix, deserve gold at some point in AEW. I really think that they're two of the best wrestlers on the planet. But it was one of those matches that sent shockwaves throughout the locker room, sent a message, and that became very clear at the end of this match when you saw what the Bucks were willing to do. I mean, honestly, Phoenix and Pac, they had this one, right? I mean, we saw Pac hit the black, we saw him hit the black arrow. We saw Phoenix right there ready to take advantage and ripping off that mask. It was one of those moments where you saw, all right, they were presented as equals.
Yeah.
But that extra nastiness, that heel edge of the Bucks is what really got them to win tonight. And so that further reemphasizes the importance of that character shift for them, that they may have lost this match if they were the Bucks that we were kind of getting to see on TV, where they're kind of pandering to the audience and things like that.
doing their thing.
That extra edge is really what made them win. And at the end of the day, it's all about who wins, brother. It's all about that gold. So
Yeah.